have social bookmarking and stuff like that, and all this information, and some of them have your phone number, your addresses, and basically your credit card numbers sometimes, with e-commerce sites. Like, how safe is it?
It's not.
Have your, right?
In short, it's not. I mean, basically, any information you put onto Facebook, even though, it shows that it's only your friends and people within your network, excuse me, just assume that it's for all the world to read. So anything you put online, just assume that people are going to be able to read it. Even though, for now it might be secure, but just, I think the day before yesterday was a misconfiguration in Facebook's privacy settings.
Right.
That it wasn't a hack. It's not a.
Oh, it
it's
wasn't
not it's not an exploit in the sense of the word. It was mainly some technical misconfiguration on their part that allowed a breach of trust, basically. But so, I mean, things like this happen all the time, So today it might be secure, but tomorrow is a different day. So whatever you put on your Facebook, anything you link to, just assume that it's going to be tied back to you one way or the other. And unless you want to make that information publicly known, then don't put it online. Don't put it on Facebook. Don't put it on Twitter. Yeah.
But
and I mean, the scariest part about it is that, let's just say you have a very secure password on your Facebook, right? So maybe if I was trying to break into your Facebook account directly, it might be a bit difficult. But you have friends that are linked onto your Facebook, and your friends might not use very secure passwords. So if I compromise their account, I still get to read all your personal details anyway. So, you know what I mean? It's not necessary for me to break into your account specifically just to get your Facebook profile. I'll look at your relationship, the friends that you have, which is what, even if you set most of your privacy to be closed, most of the time people miss those kind of settings that, who are the friends in your list. So, there's always a way around it, and people don't really think about what you can do with that information. Now, when you think about it, like most password reset questions for your email account, for example, is mother's maiden name or phone number or address, something that you normally should know. But you've put all of this information on Facebook, so you've given everybody all the passwords all the information I would need to reset your passwords without really thinking about it. So it's kind of dangerous.
Yeah, it sounds kind of scary when you think about it. But I guess I'm not an important enough person for people that want to be, checking into my personal information. But then, our discussion before, I think you were talking about there's actually a marketplace where people sell personal information.
Yep.
Like
credit card numbers,
and
bank
stuff
accounts.
Like that.
It's even complete with. I mean, sometimes there's even like the authorized credit for that credit card. So like if you're going to buy this particular credit card, you can charge up to whatever, say 10,000 ringgit, for example. So, if you're going to buy something that's worth more, then you need certain credit cards with a higher limit. Same with the bank accounts. There's even access to bank accounts of, okay, the bank account has 10,000 pounds in it. How you take the money out of that, that's your business. But here's access to it. How you're going to get the tag, that's a different story. But here's access to the account. And people still buy it, people still want it because you can use it for so many other things. If I have your bank account, I have all your private information, your name, your IC number. I can, use that to become you. I can, take over your identity. So even if I don't get to physically take the money out of your account, the fact that I have your banking transaction records, usually when you apply for a credit card, what do you need? 3 months bank slip, right? So if I got the 3 months bank slip, I can issue a credit card in your name, run up a bill. It's your credit history that gets ruined, not mine. So, people still buy accounts, even though you can't transfer the money out, but the identity in itself is worth a certain amount of money. And usually it's much more than what's in the account, because I can run up as many credit cards as I want. So it's almost an unlimited fund, almost.
There's always buyers that that do want this personal information. Then speaking of all, it all sounds scary to me. For like the normal man on the street, I think I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Do you think that they are aware of all these threats, when they, they do their e-commerce online or
I would say even most people who would proclaim themselves to be technology savvy probably have no idea of the real risks that they're exposing themselves to. So yeah, it comes back down to the man on the street. They definitely have no idea. They're just taking it for granted that, it's safe. Like, how is somebody going to steal my things? It's on my computer, it's in my house, they're going to come into my house and take my stuff. They don't really get it. They don't understand how information is connected and how little bits of information here and there can make a very big picture. It just takes time.
Yeah, well, Yeah, I guess you'd have to wait until it comes, knocking, on your door, and it happens.
Yeah, till it happens to you, then you'll realize there's a problem.
Going back to the Hack in the Box conference, would you have sort of like basic, security lessons for the men on the street? Would you have like hands-on like?
Well, okay. The thing is that Hack in the Box is actually designed more for the seasoned security person. So the issues that we talk about are
the seasoned security consultants.
Consultants, and also, I mean, even though they're all researchers, I mean, not necessarily corporate consultants only come for HITB, but there are people who have moved way beyond what I would term as basic attacks. Things like phishing and putting too much information on Facebook, and then thus people can steal your identity. Those things to me are very basic. So what we cover at Hack in the Box is much, much deeper. It's on a much higher level. For instance, like last year we had, or maybe it was a year before, we actually had a guy who came down and showed how to lift fingerprints off glass or of a can, and how to create a rubberized version of a fingerprint that would be able to bypass biometric systems. So now, our passports are RFID.
Right.
Now, RFID in itself is not really secure because it's just all these issues of RFID privacy and the fact that you can track it and you can sniff the data from RFID. So the fact that, okay, our passports are RFID, but still I can't lift your fingerprint easily, or I can't become you because I still need to scan my thumb when I leave the airport, right? But this guy has shown that basically you can, with very cheap off-the-shelf kind of equipment, you could create a rubberized mold that you can put onto your own thumb and leave the country. Because I've got the RFID, in order to sniff your passport details, I can write that RFID information to another chip, which means that I'm cloned your passport, so to speak. And when I leave, I need the biometrics in order to tell the system that I am you. And I've got this rubberized little thumbprint thing.
And this was in last year?
It was the year before last, or maybe it was last year. I can't remember. It's like it's all melded together. It was one of these years that we actually talked about that. So, I mean, that's the kind of things that we talk about. It moves a bit more beyond, the fact that you chose a very simple password. Things like this is not so easy to defend against. The fact that everybody, if you go to a bar or a restaurant, you're going to have to lift up the glass anyway. Your fingerprints are going to be there. You're going to wear a glove everywhere you go. It's like...
I guess it boils down to how important are you, and whether people want to steal your identity.
Yeah, that's true. But you see, I mean, the thing about it is that identity theft happens to everybody. It's very rarely a targeted attack.
Right.
As in, like, somebody wants to become you specifically, unless you're Barack Obama or something.
So it's just like somebody that's trying to, a fugitive or something, or just running away, and they just need an identity. So
yes, well, that's one example. But I mean, in the sense of for commercial crime, where you want to actually harvest money, you don't care who's the person. You just need an identity in order to apply for loans, to apply for credit cards. That's about it. So who the person is, you don't really care. As long as they got a good credit history, they pay their bills, they pay their taxes. Good. That's all I need. I couldn't care less who they are as a person. Whether they're famous or not is irrelevant.
So when is this Hack in the Box conference?
It's in October. Yeah, 5th to the 8th.
5th to the 8th, right? Where is it?
It's at the Crown Plaza, downtown.
So 5th to 8th October, Crown Plaza. Watch out for that one. I know I'll be there. Last question. Given that, I understand that the men on the street are not aware of it, but what about sort of the backbone institution in Malaysia, like our Tenaga Nasional, our Telecom, they are the water, electricity, and internet. They're the backbone of our country. Are they aware of all these threats and what? And I don't know. Have you had any dealings with them? Are they like putting in the proper security and stuff? Even our government, our politicians and stuff.
Well, I mean. Telecom, for instance, the R&D guys usually come for Hack in the Box. So yeah, they're aware of the threats, they're aware of these risks. But at the end of the day, it also comes back down to implementation. I mean, most organizations are very huge. Any policy decisions or any technology that you want to implement requires maybe 50 to 100 people to decide on it. So it's not something that, there's this risk here, let's fix it. There's a cost involved. And 9 times out of 10, security is like insurance. You're spending money in the hope that nothing happens. But there's no ROI. It's
not an instant ROI that you can
and it's not
see,
something that's tangible. I mean, you spend hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on firewalls, IDS, and throwing the best possible things at it, but you don't really know whether it's working. You know what I mean? When nothing happens, good. But when something happens, it's like, man, we spent so much, but yet it was compromised through some other simpler means.
So let's just hope nothing happens. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Dhillon, so much. That was really eye-opening. Like we always say, have a productive week in tech. Please send us your comments and feedbacks. Very welcome, no matter how sharp and offensive they are. We like them even better. Thank you, everyone.